Welcome back to the action. This is the ladies 3,000 meter oval international competition. We have 7 quartets, 14 pairs of races coming up. First up, Lindsay Kent and Alexa Scott, 2 skaters from Manitoba. Starting right behind them in this quad is Danielle Wallish from Alberta and Jasmine Chase from Ontario. All right, so opening split, 21.7 for Scott. Kent, 22.04. Wallish and Chase both in the low 23s. So Lindsay Kent has the best personal best of the bunch. Her PB to beat, 4:17.77. She's off the pace for that time right now. Wallish and Chase coming through. Let's see what their first lap times look like. 36 for Chase, 37 for Wallish. Still a close race between the two of them, as Kent and Scott will come through. They have 5 to go. 1,000 meters in. Lindsay Kent bringing that lap time down into the mid-33s. In fact, that's what she needs to do if she's chasing that personal best. It's to average 33.7 seconds a lap. Alexa Scott, if she is in this low 34 range, she'll be right on pace for her best time. Keep an eye on those lap times. Wallish and Chase, 1,000 meters in. Both off the pace set by that blazing first pair. Still on a good race though, 36.8 for Wallish, 37.8 for Chase, as Kent settles back into the 34s. Scott hanging on to those low 34s. It's a very consistent race here from Alexa Scott as we speak. 3,000 meter race, 7.5 laps. They come through 3 laps in. This is Wallish and Chase. Wallish bringing it down. Chase into the 37s. Good race so far here. Kent has about 1 second on her pair. Scott trying to hang on. Races are generally organized from fastest to slowest, so these might be some of the fastest 3Ks we see this morning, as Lindsay Kent comes through, holding on to those low 34s. Oh no, she's into the 35s. Bit of a positive split. Alexa Scott now gaining ground. She's only 0.7 of a second behind, as they're all bunching up on this backstretch. Wallish in the second pair, really eating into Jasmine Chase. In the low 36s. See if she can throw down another low 36 as she comes through the line. Lap time, negative split, 36.1. Chase hanging on, also negative splitting in the low 37s. As Scott gains on Kent again on that last lap, but they're near the end of the race on the last lap. Not sure Alexa Scott has enough time to catch Lindsay Kent at the end here. They are on the last corner. Scott in the inner lane trying to catch up, but it looks like it's Kent who may just hang on at the line. Her final time, 4:25.59. Alexa Scott, 4:26.04. Good fight between those two skaters. They competed right to the line. Kent just hung on by virtue of her faster opener, as Danielle Wallish comes through in her final stretch. Wallish will finish up with a final time of 4:39.15. Chase at the line 4:44, 69. So we have a look at our next heat. This is pairs 3 and 4. Taylor White in the white armband, Olivia Scott in the outer lane in the red. Both skaters racing out of Ontario. See the second pair standing behind them. That's Sarah Spence and Gabrielle Gelonnet from BC Aids Quebec. 7.5 lap race underway. Come through the first 200 meters. See these opening splits. Expect times in the 22-23 second range. Opening splits 22.3, 22.7, so good openers for that first pair. Usually that first 200 meters is a fairly easy part of the race, so you may as well make sure that you don't lose any time on those. And Gabrielle Gelonnet, 21.9. Son temps d'ouverture très vite. See if she can hold on to that time. As we see the lap times that White and Scott are settling into. Very quick. 32.8 for Scott. Taylor White, 33.8. So this is a well-matched pair. Both skaters, their best times are only about 0.2 apart. In the high 4:26, low 4:27 range. Just for reference, that is an average lap time over 7 laps, 35 seconds. So far, both skaters well under their expected pace. Spence and Gelonnet on great races as well. They're holding those low lap times. They're also chasing mid 720s, mid 420s, low 430s lap times. Or race times, my bad. So look for them to average under 35.5. Look out though, these skaters, well, they may be starting fast. It's really those last few laps that count, so see how well they hang on, how much they leave in the tank for the end of the race. 2,000 meter, very much like the men's 5K, a strategic long distance race. In the 3K, these women do not have very much time to fix any issues or any mistakes, so every single stride matters. As White and Scott are now in the low 35s, high 34s. That is still on pace for personal bests if they can keep it here. These last laps will be crucial. Spence and Gelonnet also neck and neck. This is a tight race. Just look at those split times, all about 3 seconds apart for all 4 skaters. As Scott starting to pull out a slight advantage, but White is right with her. Some tight races here. Second pair coming through. 2 laps remaining for Sarah Spence and Gabrielle Gelonnet. All 4 skaters are right on pace for personal bests. These last 2 laps will be critical with 1 to go. All skaters on their final lap right now. Oh, my mistake, Spence and Gelonnet with 1 to go now. Both in the 36s. Come through. And Taylor White starting to fade as Olivia Scott putting it to her. in the final lap. Olivia Scott at the line, her final time 4:29.37. That's good for third. Taylor White 4:31.03. So Olivia Scott with a strong finish. We'll see how Sarah Spence and Gabrielle Jelinek finish up at the line. Final times. Spence takes it 4:28.41, 4:29.12 for Jelinek. That is a personal best for Gabrielle Jelinek. Temps record pour Gabrielle Jelinek. And we come to our next pair, la prochaine paire. In the inner lane, it's Quebec, c'est Véronique Derry. In the outer lane from BC, Kirsten Hagen. Lining up behind them in the inner, Kayla McNeely, and in the outer, Laura Hall. And they are underway now, 7.5 laps remaining. Skaters get going. See the nice big video board in behind them. New addition to the oval this year. That's in anticipation of some major international events coming up throughout the season. Now, Véronique Derry, elle chasse un temps personnel de 4:31. Kirsten Hagen chasing a PB of 4:32.29. So a well-matched pair in the red and white. McNeely and Hall also well-matched, both with personal bests in the mid 4:30s, 4:34 and 4:35 respectively. So skating a mid 4:30 will require an average of 36 seconds a lap. So keep an eye on those times, see if they are on pace to skate below 4:30, which is what Derry and Hagen will be after. They need to average 35.5 per lap. So as it is right now, they are right on pace, but still very early days here in this race. You'd actually expect them to maybe be a little bit faster at this point of the skate, but you never know. All skaters 1,000 meters into this thing. Laura Hall leading the way with the 33-second lap. Et c'est Derry et Hagen. Ils ont fait 3 tours et demi. Alors, juste en dessous de moitié de la course finie. C'est Hagen qui mène, mais c'est encore très proche. Ils sont côte à côte. Tight race here. Need to go with 3 laps to go. 3 tours à faire. Lap times. High 35, low 36. Derry and Hagen neck and neck. McNeely and Hall still chugging away. Laura Hall, who started very quick, is still hanging on to those times. She's into the 35s now, but she's carved a 5-second advantage on the rest of the race. See if she can hang on to that. Currently, her split times put her in 6th overall, just behind Taylor White. If she kept this up, this would be quite the finish for Laura Hall. She is on pace right now for personal best. If she can hang on to these times, all into the 36s, next few laps will be critical. As Hagen is starting to pull away a little from Derry, but Derry's coming around on the inner. Sometimes you see this in these long distance races, when the skaters get a lap on the inner lane, they tend to pick up a little bit of speed so they can see their pair ahead of them. They get the slightly tighter corner. They're now on their final lap. Hagen will have the advantage of finishing on the inner. McNeely and Hall get the bell. Kayla McNeely still 5 seconds up on her pair. Come around. Last 100 meters. This is Hagen who will take this race. Dedy trying to keep up, but Hagen at the line. Her final time, 4:34.01, 4:34.54 for the skater from Quebec. As McNeely will come through. Her time, 4:30.13. That is a big personal best for Kayla McNeely. 4 seconds off her best previous mark. For Laura Hall, my mistake. Kayla McNeely, 4:34.29. McNeely also skating in personal best by a slimmer margin, but never complain with a personal best. So McNeely and Hall both with their best races ever. As we move on now to our fourth quartet. Up in this one, we have Janelle Wiebe in the inner lane and Danielle Dumouchel in the outer lane. Derrière eux, c'est Rose Laliberté-Roy et Emmanuel Côté, deux athlètes du Québec. So, in their opening 200 meters, opening split for our first two in the 22-second range. La Liberté-Roy et Côté, les temps d'ouverture 21-6 pour la Liberté-Roy, 22-4 pour Emmanuel Côté. La Liberté-Roy en jaune, Emmanuel Côté en bleu. So we'll look at these opening lap times for Wiebe and Dumouchel. Dumouchel with a 33.7, Wiebe 34.4. These skaters chasing times in the 4:30 range. Look for them to aim for 35 seconds a lap. So both skaters a little bit ahead of pace as we get going. Banking time ahead of the end. Côté et la Liberté-Roy, côte à côte. 34-3 pour Côté, la Liberté-Roy 34-8. So good opening splits for the two young athletes from Quebec. Ils passent dans les 35 secondes par tour. Pour atteindre des temps personnels, la Liberté-Roy doit faire des courses, des tours en dessous de 37 secondes. Même chose pour Emmanuel Côté. Alors c'est un bon départ pour ces deux athlètes. Wiebe and Dumouchel still neck and neck, both in the 35.0 range. That's 3 laps in. As they come around, they will have 3 to go. Wiebe is starting to pick it up into the 34s. Dumouchel is going the other way into the 35s. So look out, here comes Janelle Wiebe. Et Emmanuel Côté, 35-3. La Liberté-Roy, 35-7. Alors, Côté commence à rattraper sa paire.
With 2 laps remaining, good run back by the Lindsay Michelle, still in
2 to
front.
go here
36.42. With 3
as
wide, but with a time of 26.7.
Weeb continues to gain on Zumuchel. They are neck and neck.
And the fight for the time
This
continues.
will be a tight
Daniel
finish.
Grégoire to go.
It's come around. Lap and a half remaining.
Daniel Côté qui suit quand même dans la deuxième place avec
Daniel
environ
Côté,
35-39.
elle baisse son
Et
temps.
Daniel Grégoire
35-4.
en dixième place
Commence à
avec
accélérer. La
35-37.
Liberté quoi, va d'autre direction.
Et last lap remaining in place.
Une
Rosen
centième les sépare avec un
Lindsay
tour à
Michelle
faire.
wide there with a time of 27.08.
2 tours à
Daniel
faire.
Michelle here with a
Excuse-moi.
time of 27.21.
As Weeb and Zumuchel
And last
are
lap
now on their final
remaining
lap. My
in
mistake. I was
Rosen Grégoire
a little mixed up
and
there.
Côté.
It's going to be a close finish for
La
both
deuxième place
pairs.
avec environ 35-38. Et Côté avec environ
Weeb and
35-39.
Zumuchel will be right on their PBs too if they can finish quick here. And it looks like that is Zumuchel in the red armband who's going to take
Official time
this at the line with
Lindsay
the
Michelle
finish
with a time of 27.32.
4:31.92.
Michelle goes wide with a final time of 4:32.41.
Good finishing time for her. That's a personal best, 4:32.49 for
Et
Weeb.
quatrième
Also a
position
PB.
avec
Et les deux Québécoises à la ligne. C'est
Rosen
Côté
Grégoire
qui va prendre cette course.
with a time of
4:30.61, c'est un temps
Côté
personnel
sixième
de
avec a time of
12
4:30.
secondes.
Michelle wide finishing 10th and Gabrielle Michelle finishing 11th.
4:31.01 pour Rose la Liberté quoi. Aussi un temps personnel. Alors, 4 temps personnels dans cette course. What a race. 4 PBs for 4 athletes. These next skaters on the line will be looking to repeat that.
Go to the start.
Up next, this is Rosanne Grenier, who's Quebec in the inner lane, and Sierra Johnson from Ontario in the outer. Standing behind them in the yellow armband is Amanda Mitchell from BC and Ashley Hanna from Manitoba with the blue. So 3,000 meters to go as they're off the line now, trying to pick up speed. As with the men's 5,000 meter, ladies 3,000 is a longer race, and the skaters will often try to chunk the race into smaller pieces. One popular way to think of it is to split it into thirds, so the first 2 or so laps, the second 2 or 3 laps, and then the final laps. So at the beginning here, these skaters will be looking for what we call easy speed. That means relaxed upper bodies, good long strides, good weight transfer, efficiency. If they use too much energy to get their lap times at the beginning, they really can pay for it at the end. So hopefully that is not the case here today, as Grenier and Johnson are in the 34-second range. Mitchell and Hanna settling in just a little bit slower in the 35s. Target times 4:41 for Grenier, 4:45 for Johnson, 4:43 for Mitchell, and 4:47 for Hanna. So all skaters' personal bests are in that 4:40 range. Just for reference, that means that they will be looking to average low 37 seconds per lap in order to get personal bests. So far, all these athletes well under the required pace, so it's shaping up well in this 5th quartet. Grenier, elle maintient ses tours dans les 34 secondes. Elle doit faire une moyenne de en dessous de 37.0 0 partout pour faire un temps personnel.
Race is 6-1 for Michelle Ashley.
Alors, elle est dans la bonne voie. She's on the right track right now, Rosanne Grenier, for a PB. Only skater in the 34s as we speak. And she brought it down, 34-8. Sierra Johnson trying to hang on, 35-8. As Mitchell and Hannah are now maintaining those 35s and 36s. Let's see as they come around. 4 laps to go for those two. Let's see those lap times. Both in the 36s. Hannah starting to pull ahead of her pair. She'll go over the top on the backstretch. Grenier, elle descend elle encore plus vite. 34-7, negative splitting for Rosanne Grenier. Johnson, 36-20. So Johnson's hanging on as well. This next few laps for her will be absolutely critical. With 2 to go for Mitchell and Hannah. Our first pair will come through. This is Rosanne Grenier, still leading, still in the 34s. Johnson into the 37s. So both skaters currently on pace for personal bests. Sierra Johnson really needs to keep this next lap in that same range, 37 or so. She wants a PB. Mitchell and Hannah, they're only a 10th apart as Grenier powers to the line. Wow, what a race, 4:27. 4:27.16. Big personal best for her. Sierra Johnson, 4:35.35. That is 10 seconds off her PB, folks. What a race for Sierra Johnson and Rosanne Grenier. Big PBs all around. As Mitchell and Hannah will come to the line. Their final times, 4:40 for Amanda Mitchell. That's a 3-second PB. Ashley Hannah, 4:41. Also a personal best. Hers by about 5 seconds. So we have 8 PBs in a row now. You can bet that Anna Bourgeois and Rachel Freitag, who are up next, know that. And they're just biting their chops, licking their lips, hoping to get a chance to repeat. So this is Bourgeois and Freitag. Behind them is Lily Weidman and Emma Javra. Skaters off the line. They wear these aerodynamic skin suits. So form-fitting suits that allow them to cut through the air and reduce drag. Second pair is off the line as well now. Opening splits, 22-8, 22-4 for our first pair. Weidman and Javra now through 200. Also in that 22 range. Target times in this race, 4:47 for Bourgeois, Freitag 4:51, Weidman 4:51, and Javra 4:55. So Bourgeois, Freitag, and Weidman will be aiming for low 38 seconds per lap. They're in the 37s the whole way. That means a personal best. Javra is going to be aiming for mid 38s. If she can keep things in the low to mid 38s, that will be a personal best for her as well. So keep an eye on those lap times. All four skaters right now well under the required pace, so they're on a good one. As they come around, getting some encouragement from the mats. Anna Bourgeois pulling out a slight advantage on Rachel Freitag. About a second and a half here. All skaters looking fairly solid here as this race starts. About 2-3 laps in. This is Weidman leading Jafra. Weidman's last lap time was a 36. Let's see if she can keep it there. Yes, she does. Negative splitting to a 36.8. It's a good lap time for her. Emma Jafra is into the 39s. This is where she needs to bring it down now. She wants that PB back into the 38s. Bourgeois is really powering ahead in this first pair. Low 36-second lap. So keep an eye on her lap times because she's on to something special here as Weidman comes through, still in the 36s. Good lap time for her. This is Javra into the 41s. As Bourgeois comes through, another 36-second lap. Negative splitting. So her virtual standing right now, 16th on the board. This is a race right now between Anna Bourgeois in the first pair and Lily Weidman in the second. Freitag, meanwhile, on a fairly steady race. She's in the 38s right now with 1 to go for Anna Bourgeois. Freitag will come through with 1 to go as well. Javra's on the backstretch, 1.5 laps for her. So Freitag, can she keep it in the 38s? Bourgeois, can she keep things in those low 37s? Weidman, oh, she dropped off a bit on that lap into the 39s. See if she banked enough time early on as Bourgeois powers to the line. Her final time, 4:37.55, massive personal best for Anna Bourgeois. That's 10 seconds off her best mark before this. Here comes Weidman. Sorry, Freitag finished up in the meantime, 4:46.91. Also a PB for Rachel Freitag, 5 seconds off her best time. Weidman at the line, 4:47.38. Another PB. That's 4 seconds off her PB. And Javra now finishing up 50 meters remaining. She's going to come to the line with a time of 5:05.26. As we now move on to our final 2 races of the morning here, the Oval International. This is the ladies 3,000 meter. 4 skaters up next in this one. Brooke Braun in the inner, Molly Johnson in the outer. Stephanie Spicer and Yasmin Yudin will follow up in the second pair. Just a reminder that these are quartets, meaning all 4 skaters skate on the racing surface at once, but they are actually 2 separate races. So the first pair is the white and red, the second pair the yellow and blue. So the skaters, if they are passing each other, are not allowed to draft. They have to go past right away and not just sit behind. 7.5 laps, changing sides on each lap. So each lap will have an inner corner and an outer corner. Braun's opening lap time, opening 200 meter time, 23.9. Molly Johnson 24.7. Spicer and Uden both starting a bit quicker in the low 23s for Spicer. Uden 23.7. It's really on the first 2 laps where you get an idea, okay, where are they aiming? So Braun and Johnson in the 37, 38 range or so. That's exactly where they need to be. Both skaters looking to crack the 5-minute barrier. In order to do that, they must average 39.5 seconds per lap. So Braun and Johnson currently on pace. Spicer and Uden are looking to crack the 5:10 barrier. That's an average of 41 seconds per lap that is required. So with a 37 and a 38 on that first lap, Spicer and Uden are well on their way. Still early days though, as they'll come around with 5 to go. Braun and Johnson now 4.5 laps remaining. So far, steady lap times. Watch these skaters come around the ice. They are allowed to skate as close to that blue line as they can without having their blade cross over. We saw Johnson there doing a very good job of skating tight to those blocks. It can add up over 7.5 laps. If you're 1 to 2 feet away from the blocks on the corner, the extra distance you skate ends up being quite significant by the end. All skaters are now flirting with that 40-second barrier. This is where they really need to bring it down if they're looking for PBs. This is where the rubber meets the road. The legs get tired. Do the skaters get going? As Spicer and Uden come through 1,800 meters in, 1,200 to go. That's 3 laps remaining. Both skaters in the high 40 seconds per lap. So you'll see in the 3,000 meters, often the skaters will skate with their arms on their back for the first part of the race. But then as they get a bit more tired and they need to keep those legs moving, they start to swing 1 or 2 arms on the straightaway just to try and drive some extra energy into the legs. As Johnson looking really strong coming into that outer lane. She's the only one still under 40 seconds. She's chasing a PB. If she can keep her lap times right around here, she's going to get it. Johnson looking to crack that 5-minute mark. Coming through just over 40 with 1 to go. Braun, 1 to go as well. Spicer and Uden will come through onto the home stretch. 500 meters remaining for them. Bell lap now for Spicer and Uden. Spicer leading the way. She has about 50 meters on Yasmin Uden. And Braun still looking strong. Look at that. She's swinging both arms as she comes to the line. Molly Johnson at the line. 5 minutes 37. That's a personal best, but a heartbreak just over that 5-minute barrier. She now has a new target, that is to crack 5 minutes. Brooke Braun, 5:08:04. So Molly Johnson, what a race. great finish. Those last 3 laps almost all identical in time. Spicer will finish up 5:05.15. That's a 5-second PB for her. Yuden 5:11.14, just off of hers. So Johnson and Spicer both skating big PBs as we wrap up the ladies 3,000 meters at the Oval International. Fastest time of the group was Alexa Scott's from Manitoba, 4:26.04. Rosanne Grenier right behind her, and Sarah Spence rounds off the top 3. Come back after lunch
It was okay.
to see
It's just not like shitty
some
stuff.
really exciting
It
racing.
was.
The men's and
I'll
ladies
say
5,000 and
the
3,000 meter
festival
Canadian championships
at
at
2:15 was
2:15. Chance to watch Olympic medalist Ted-Jan Blumen, as well as a host of amazing Canadian skaters duke it out over the long laps. That's at 2:15.